This Guitar Interactive magazine feature is brought to you by Ciari Guitars. Much more than a travel guitar. Take it to the world stage. For more information, visit ciariguitars.com.
So hi guys, Jonathan Graham here for Guitar Interactive Magazine. We are at Download 2024 and we're with the one and only Tom Morello. How are you doing today,
how
sir?
are you?
I'm great for seeing you. Now you've had a busy week.
It is a busy week, yeah. A lot of rocking, a lot of guitar playing.
Absolutely, and a lot of announcements.
Yes.
So let's run through them. Let's start with Soldier in the Army of Love with your son.
Yes.
What a fantastic project this is. I got to hear the single last night.
Cool.
It's obviously going to be fantastic.
That's a shredding guitar solo on there.
Oh man.
I wish I could say it was me.
That's it. You know, right now there's not too much information on it, so you're thinking, wait, is that Roman? Is that Tom?
Yeah. I'd be happy. I'll sort it out for you right now.
Yeah.
So this is a song that my 13-year-old guitar product during lockdown, when everybody else was baking bread, he was putting in his 8 hours a day, right? So I've been relegated to be the rhythm guitar player in the family now, right? So, but no, one day I was walking by his bedroom and he was playing these awesome like drop D heavy riffs. I'm like, what is that? And he's like, I just came up with them. He's like, Dad, do you think these riffs go together? I'm like, yeah, I think those riffs go together. And so we did this song together, Soldier in the Army of Love. He wrote the riffs. I produced it and kind of play on it. But the guitar solo is him as well. And so it's really, with Father's Day around the corner, I'm very, very proud to be, making probably the heaviest song I've released in some time.
Wow.
Is with my 13-year-old. Yeah.
It's incredible. Congratulations on it. Now, obviously, this is going to mean it's going to be your first
solo
debut
rock
album.
Yeah.
When are we going to see that?
I've made a bunch of solo records, but this is the one that really has a like rock, pure rock as its heart. I made, alternative collaborations and electronic collaborations and folk music records, but this is a Tom Morello solo rock record, and it's a very fitting first single for it. Yeah.
Okay, and what more can you tell us about the album?
Sure, like on the one hand, it's going to lean very heavy into like the Morellian riffs of Rage and Audioslave ilk, but there's also like a Darkness on the Edge of Town component to it as well.
Okay, fantastic.
And there likely will be some collaborations, but it's not collaboration dependent.
Okay, and maybe some people you haven't collaborated with in the past?
It would be new if they're,
and when will we hear the album?
Yeah, well, I mean, I have a summer tour that I've that interrupted the recording process. So I really wanted to get this song out, Soldier in the Army. I mean, we open the set with it every night. It's been just crushing, and so I wanted to have like a big summer rock jam to play.
Absolutely.
I think the second single will be ready probably early fall, and then finish the record then hopefully before the end of the year.
Of course, and you're involved with Def Leppard as well. You got a single out right now with those guys.
It's crazy. Like I played Rock of Ages in my college cover band, and one day Def Leppard rings up and goes like, "Do you want to play a solo on our new song?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I want to play a new solo on yours."
So did you actually did you meet with the guys and do
it
that way?
No, it was remote. They were somewhere else in the world.
Because that's the thing. That's how they've shipped. Because of COVID and the last record, even they've done it like that now, So I suppose it opens up.
I hope to jam it with them sometime. I know they're going on tour. I hope to find them somewhere and play
Absolutely.
with them.
And congratulations on being the 2024 Woody Guthrie Prize winner.
That's pretty.
I mean, got to be very special for you and a very personal award.
Very much. I mean, I really admire Woody Guthrie as an artist, and that genre of like sort of the political folk music is very much in my blood.
Yeah.
Right there with my heavy metal riffage, and so it's really a big honor. And the fact that like Springsteen and Pussy Riot and Chuck D have gotten that in the past. It's pretty good company.
And of course, and one of them that you mentioned there, Bruce Springsteen, you've been doing some work with this guy as well. You've been showing up on stage over the last few years. How did that come to?
Yeah, well, we toured together on and off for about 6 years, and but we hadn't played together in some years now. So I played Ghost of Tom Joad with him the other night, or about a month ago in Los Angeles. He's one of my favorite artists, and the chemistry that arises when we play together with the E Street Band is really special.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you just celebrated your 60th birthday. My God, you don't look more than 21, son. It's unbelievable.
It's wild.
But, the career you've had, incredible, bands that you've been involved with, Rage and Audioslave and all your solo stuff. If you were just starting out now, what advice would you give yourself?
Well, I mean, it's a different world now. I will say this, if there was one lesson I learned across those 30 years, it was like, I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to be famous. I wanted to be a rock star. And I failed at all those things. I did. I was 26 years old. I had been in a band that was signed and dropped. I had tried to do everything the record company asked us to do,
Yeah.
and that didn't work out. I was playing solos that sounded like every other heavy metal guitar player, and I was really great at it, and it didn't matter at all.
Yeah.
So rather than being a musician, I concentrated on being an artist. Rather than trying to become famous, I made music that was completely authentic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's, at the end of the day, whether you're playing in basements or whether you're playing in stadiums, if you make music you love that is true to yourself, you're a success, period.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just talking about that, about how you made that shift in the style of playing you were
Yeah.
doing, because we can hear in early recordings, you're doing more of that traditional
Yes.
solo style.
Yeah.
Was there a specific moment where you realized,
Yeah, there really was. It was really in the earliest days of Rage Against the Machine where I began to sort of self-identify as the DJ. And there was a gig, we were opening up for 2 cover bands in the San Fernando Valley at a college on a Wednesday afternoon or something like that, a throwaway gig. And at soundcheck, each of the other bands had a shred, like a really top-notch Yngwie level shredding guitar player, and that's what I was trying to be. And I'm like, if some awful gig already has 2 of those dudes, it doesn't need a third hamster running on that wheel.
Sure.
So I was practicing 8 hours a day scales. I started practicing 8 hours a day mistakes and started looking at the guitar as like deconstructing the instrument. It's just a piece of wood with some wires and some electronics. And if I can make a noise, then that noise can be the centerpiece of a song or of a solo. And that's the moment where I stopped just being a musician, I started being an artist.
absolutely, and now you're one of the greatest riff makers of all time in rock and metal. If you were to pick 3 riffs from other bands that could be yours,
I got
what
it
would they
for
be?
you. Yeah, off the top. Let's go with The Ocean by Led Zeppelin. Let's go with Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath by Black Sabbath. And let's go with Stormbringer by Deep Purple.
Beautiful choices.
Yeah.
Now, it's always iconic to see you with the Stratocaster. It celebrates its 70th anniversary this year.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the first time you were inspired to pick up a Strat and why that was your weapon of choice?
Yeah. Well, my Arm the Homeless guitar is not a Strat. That was sort of Strat shaped. But the first time I ever played a Strat was Rage Against the Machine had broken up. We were forming a new band called Audioslave, and I knew I wanted a new guitar. And I went into some guitar shop, and I saw a guitar that was like, it just spoke. Sometimes you see like a dog in a shelter, and you just kind of know like that's. And I saw, I said, like, this just needs a little Tom Morello love. So I bought the guitar. I put in new pickups, put the whammy bar of my choice on it, put a toggle switch on it, switched a few things around. Went home, wrote Soul Power on it the second I got home, and that was when I fell in love with the Strat, and that became the entire sound of guitar sound of Audioslave. And then later on, I made that like my first signature guitar.
Absolutely, yeah. You mentioned there very briefly Audioslave. If Chris hadn't passed away, obviously you got together early in 2017. Do you think we would have heard more music from the band?
I think so. We played together twice, in the last year of his life, and we talked about it the last time we saw each other. Was like, we should do this more often. But I miss him terribly, and he's he was a friend. We were bandmates, but I never stopped being a fan. Never stopped being a fan.
Of course.
And you'll see, we never play a show where we don't pay homage to Chris.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I'd be remiss to not mention just one Rage thing,
Sure.
but the fact that we're at Downloads here,
Sure.
2010. Well, actually, taking it all the way through to the Christmas number 2009, all the way through to headlining in 2010, must have been a very special time for you and the band.
It was
Can you
incredible.
just reflect on it?
The Finsbury Park show, the free show there, is, not just, one of the highlights of my musical life. I think it's one of the highlights in the history of rock and roll, quite frankly, where the people, kicked out Simon Cowell and the X Factor, put in a 17-year-old song with 16 fuck yous and one motherfucker as the number 1 song in the country for the Christmas single, and then celebrated at a free concert that was supposed to be 45,000 people, and ended up being 90,000 people. It's just one of the all-time great people power moments.
Absolutely. Now, the political climate is crazy these days.
Crazy.
It seems to, and a lot of, in comedy and movies, it's kind of gone beyond parody.
Yeah.
But in music's a whole different thing. If
Yeah.
Rage were coming on the scene now, what kind of impact do you think they would have?
I don't know. There's no way to know, but all I can say is Tom Morello's coming around now, and he's going to have all the impact he can.
Absolutely. On that note, thanks so much, Tom. A pleasure.
Again, thank you very much. Really appreciate it, man. Cheers.